Let's Talk Oculus, a VR podcast, is proudly sponsored by the good folks at Patreon. If you want to support the show, join us on patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus. What's up, Oculus nerds? Welcome back to Let's Talk Oculus, episode 89. I'm your host, as always, Dan from Playtest VR, and I'm joined by Samson. How are you doing, Samson? It's been a big day, hasn't it? It's been a big day.
It has been a huge day. I even had to take a short nap because I've been losing sleep. I've been so excited like all week. And then today it started at 10 a.m. here with the MetaQuest 3 and right into the showcase. Damn. And it's been a lot. It's been a lot of excitement.
It's been a lot of excitement. It's so exciting that we're recording. I mean, I'm in the UK at the moment and it's currently 12:04 a.m. in the UK. So my eyes are a little small right now. So if you're watching the video podcast, that is why. But I thought we have to talk about this. We have to get something out for our listeners, for sure. Obviously it's the hype train right now. It's the hype train. So what we're going to do, a little bit different.
Wait. Sorry. Before we get started, though, thank you to everybody who came out to our live stream, supported us, subbed, gave us likes, chatted in the chat. Really, that was a blast. That was our first time doing that. And thank you for dealing with our audio issues and all our hiccups. Much love, because that was so much fun. It was so much fun. And thank you to Jenna. Big thank you to Jenna.
Yeah, if you missed it, we went live for the MetaQuest 3 announcement. That wasn't really planned. It was just like 5 minutes before I was like, you know what? I think we should go live because I feel like this is going to be pretty big. And then, so a bunch of people joined on that, which was great. And then also for the Let's Talk, the actual Oculus showcase. When it's called the Let's Talk Oculus showcase, maybe one day. Also, actually, great point you mentioned that. Yeah, thank you so much for joining. Though we had a lot of people and we had over 350 comments in total for that live stream, which was real fun. We also got 2 extra Patreons. We got Chris, who became one of the new Patreons earlier today, and also Rick, who also joined later on in the day. So thank you so much for our new patrons. It's always great to see. And thank you so much for the support. Absolutely. It was so much fun. And it feels like we want to do like a live stream like this every single week.
It was so much fun. Yeah. I just want to keep hanging out with y'all.
Yeah. Definitely. All right, Samson. So we don't go into the early hours of the morning and it's breakfast time, let's crack on with it. What I'm going to do is we're going to break this into 3 parts. Okay, normally have 3 parts in the show, but what we're going to do is part 1, MetaQuest 3, part 2, the pre-show, and part 3, the main show. Okay, so I mean, sometimes the pre-show, I was going to say the pre-show could be quite small, but there's actually, because of the walkabout stuff, it's actually going to be quite big. So what we're going to do is we're going to break through everything for that MetaQuest showcase in part 2 and part 3. We won't spend too much time on everything, but we'll spend some time on the stuff that we really cared about. Okay. And if you want to know more about something that we're not really interested in, i.e. little cities, for example, you can go on to Upload VR. They have an article for every single bloody game already, ready to go. And
it's almost like they were ready for it.
I know, right? Someone must have tipped them off. They also have reviews for 2 of the games, No More Rainbows and We Are One, which also came out. So
I forgot there's an upload showcase later on this month. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, we might do a live stream for that. Who knows?
I'm put in for that day off now.
Okay, let's get on to it. Part 1, MetaQuest 3. This was a surprise announcement in a way. A day yesterday, we found out, or a day before recording, we found out that Zuckerberg was going to tease something, and it was obvious that it was the Quest 3. But to be honest, we had no idea that it was going to come. I remember in the predictions episode, I said probably not going to be shown, but they showed it off. And Mark Gurman, who had a article earlier this week because he got to try the Quest, he actually tweeted out that
Bloomberg guy.
Yeah, the Bloomberg guy. He tweeted out that they announced it 4 months early, like it wasn't really planned, but I'm not too sure about that anymore. But let's run through some of the facts and then we'll talk about it.
Bloomberg's hit and miss.
Bloomberg, it really is hit and miss. Mark Gurman's normally solid though, but yeah, never mind. All right, so it's $4.99 for the 128 gigabyte version, which was very sad to hear because I didn't know that until after the show we did. The Quest 2 drops to $299, so that's what we kind of predicted, that they were always going to keep that SKU to make a cheaper version. It's 40% lighter. It's exactly the design that we've been teasing from Sadly It's Bradley back in last October. Like, it looks identical, like amazing leaks with the 3 kind of pills on the front. What else is there? Oh yeah, we've got full color pass through, so it has 4 cameras, 2 on each pill, and they do color pass through, so you can see, according to the trailer, you can see everything, and according to Mark Gomez's report, which I'll discuss in a moment, you can see so clearly, like it's like you can see your whole room.
Use your phone. You could use your phone, right?
You can text and such, yeah. So, and it's using a new chipset, which is the Snapdragon XR2 second generations. The first generation is used in the Quest 1 and the Quest 2, sorry, and the first generation Plus is in the Quest Pro. This is their most powerful headset yet. And I have some thoughts on that, but that's pretty much the notes.
Pancake lenses. I see a Virtual Panda tweet that says customizable strap. I didn't see much on that, but I'll believe it. And it looks like it's way better at blocking light. Like, it almost looks like when they were in the pictures, it looks like the PSVR, how it like
wraps
really wraps it. Yeah, it looks like that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no.
And then the controllers, sorry. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, the controllers don't have tracking rings, but they also don't have cameras on it. So they're almost the Quest Pro controllers, just without the tracking cameras. So technically, the Quest Pro controllers are better at tracking, as you'll think. But that seems to be the only difference of it right now. We'll just have to test it when it comes out. And they're also showing it off in September 27th, which is when the Connect is going to happen. So that's been announced for September 27th. Hell yes, we'll be doing a live stream for that. You already know. You already know. Okay, Samson, what's your initial thoughts on this? Obviously, it feels like this was ages ago now because of how long this day's been in terms of news. But first of all, I mean, what was your initial thoughts, sorry, when you saw that first minute and a half trailer that they put out for the Quest 3?
Very exciting. Big fan of the form factor. Even though I think it's technically a few grams heavier, it's closer to your face, so the center of gravity is closer, and that's really a big thing for me. Like, after the 2.5 hour mark, wearing that Quest 2 with my battery pack on the back, it's just like a lot of weight. And weird, just like, especially when playing walkabout, I'm always looking forward. So really, that's might be the number one thing. That pancake lenses, like the clarity is going to be good. The price is right about where I expected. Not getting the 128, that's for sure. So I'm expecting to spend about 600 or so.
Yeah. It's almost.
Yeah, it looks good, man. I'm excited. If you're a Quest 1 owner, it's like perfect, right? Your thing's just becoming obsolete, and then you're gonna have a huge jump, right?
Yeah.
Quest 2 users, I think, will have a harder time justifying the upgrade, especially at the price, unless you're able to like flip it, like sell your Quest 2 and then use that for some of this. But yeah, I don't know that unless you're like me and you just like having the new tech, or I imagine if you're a daily workout user in it, it'll probably be way more comfortable for that. But if you're just using your Quest 2 for like PCVR or just like if every once in a while type of deal, I don't think you really, I think your Quest 2 is going to be good for another year or two, for sure. Like, all the games are going to run on both. So yeah, but I'm in day one, obviously. Obviously.
I think because they're still selling the Quest 2, I think you're going to have at least 2 to 3 years longer for the Quest 2. I think when the Quest 2 stops, when they stop shipping the Quest 2, then you've got, okay, here's your 2-year timer, I would say, or 1.5 years timer before this ends in terms of support, I would say. I mean, there might be some Quest 3 exclusives, but I still think the vast majority of games will be supported on Quest 2. But I'm in your camp. I'm like, okay, sure, we do this Let's Talk Oculus, right? Occasionally I put out the YouTube video. We're in that kind of scene, right? So obviously I'm going to buy it day one. But if I wasn't in this scene, I still would be buying it day one because I have a 64 gig Quest 2, and it kills me. Like even right now, it's like I cannot put many games on it at all because Walkabout takes now too much. Synthesizers takes now too much, so I need to delete 2 of those to free space for another one, which takes too much and such. And then also because of the software cache in a way. I mean, it will probably work if I reset the quest in total.
Yeah, there's always a little left.
There's always it just keeps getting bigger. That gray of unknown just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And so I will definitely upgrade even if I wasn't doing the podcast.
Oh, also there was the news that the Quest 2 is underclocked. Like it's been underclocked and they've been whatever. They've been clocking it forward, right?
Sure.
So I think it's, what was it, like 15 to 20% more GPU. So devs are going to be able to push, like squeeze more out of those Quest 2 games.
Yeah. They said 19 to 26% better performance in CPU/GPU, and also 11% for Quest Pro as well. So yeah, it's going to look better in Quest 2 in general. That update's going to come out soon. I'm intrigued to see what it looks like. I know Ryan Engel from Golf VR, or Golf Plus rather, he tweeted out a photo a few days ago just saying how impressive it looks. Yeah, the text of his UI just looked way sharper than it normally did. So yeah, I think it's going to look good. Obviously, I'm so excited to see pancake lenses into the hands of many more people, because that was my favorite part of the Quest Pro, was those lenses of how they're not obviously better resolution. At least those weren't. I believe the Quest 2 does have better, Quest 3 does have better resolution, but we don't know.
It's just more clear, yeah, and like a bigger zone, yeah,
just so much more sharp. Like you going on your laptop in VR and doing that working, you can actually see it quite nice, and it's going to be wonders for mixed reality as well, having that text really sharp, which is great. Here's the thing, actually, here's a question, because I just saw this on Twitter recently just before we kind of went live. What do you think of the actual design now that you see it properly in the face? The reason why I
saw Six Sliv complaining about it,
I saw not even just Six Sliv, I saw a lot of people thinking that this thing is very, very ugly.
It's no uglier to me than any of the others, but like they think the little pod, the pill things look a bit too they're a bit too, because they contrast with the white.
They stick out too much. They stick out,
yeah. I don't really care. It looks fine to me.
I also have the exact same thought as you. I don't really care either. And plus, at the same time, I think the only headset, I mean, I'm sure Apple's next week is going to look beautiful, I assume, because Apple always looks beautiful, right? But the only other headset that I really like the look of is the MetaQuest Pro. Like, I really like, even though that looks kind of weird when you really stare at it with the eyes looking with how the shape the cutout is, but still, that looks sleek. It's beautiful. You just want to dock that, and it looks lovely on your like desk and such. Outside from that, is there any other VR headsets that are actually nice looking? Like the PlayStation VR 2, that one looks okay, but as soon as you put it on your head, it looks so stupid. It's so big. It's huge. You know, it's really light, but like it's so big, and it makes you like, I don't have the biggest heads, but it does crop my head completely. And so I don't see any hate. I just like, who cares in the end of the day? Like, you're putting this in the face. It's not like a fashion piece, and not the VR headsets are not known for being very fashionable anyway, you know.
I just don't think that I don't think anybody is like gonna see this and be like, well, now I don't want it.
Yeah. Look at the PS5. The PS5 looks crazy.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like if you want it, you're gonna be getting it. And I do wish it came in like a black or maybe another color, but you know, it is what it is. I do have a question for you, though.
Go on.
Do you think buying the 128 gigabyte will be the 64 gigabyte of the next gen?
Absolutely.
It'll be outdated real quick.
The thing is, right, these games just keep getting bigger and bigger. Look at Asgard's Wrath, that we'll talk about towards the end of the show, actually, because it'll be in part 3. But that's a 60-hour open world RPG.
Like, the PC game's well over 100 gigabytes.
Sure, they can do a lot of optimization, but come on, is that going to be less than 50 gigabytes? Is that going to be
No
less
way.
than 50 gigabytes? So if
No
you're getting
way.
the 128 gig, you're getting it with Asgard's Wrath. Obviously, we're speculating because we don't know, but you're getting it with Asgard's Wrath 2, and then a 64 gig Quest for the rest of it, right? It's like 128 seems bonkers to me, unless for some reason the optimization is amazing. Yeah, I would not. I'll be buying. It's weird that they didn't show the other two configs. I would have thought they would have shown at least the second one, but I hope that there's a 512 version because that's the one I'd want to get, to be honest. Even 256 is enough for a full lifespan, but maybe not for the Quest 3s for the whole lifespan of having it. I mean, especially in like us as we're like more of a power users in a way.
Yeah.
It's it's 256 or at least for me, depending on how much I can afford, to be honest.
For sure. I mean, where's Meta with their SD cards? Come on.
The SD cards nowadays are very good and they're really cheap. Like, come on, you can get a 512 for like $50, if that, nowadays.
I have a terabyte in both my Switch and my Steam Deck. And yeah, I didn't get a terabyte from Analog Pocket because it's all ROMs from, the 90s. And I knew I wouldn't be taking up a terabyte. Yeah. But give us the option. Give us the option.
Yeah, like that was very disappointing to me. That's the only disappointment I have. Everything else I'm really stoked on. And actually, let's get into Mark Gurman's report of when he had hands on, and he came up with more details than we found out. So a few things I'll throw at you here. The obviously headset's 40% lighter. It's 2 times thinner than the Quest 2. It doesn't really look thinner because of the faceplate, but if you just take the white parts, it's considerably thinner. Speedier performance navigating the UI was much improved. I really hope they change the UI, but anyway. Yeah, like the in the pills, the left and right are color cameras, and the middle is a depth sensor. The Quest Pro
That's big.
That's huge because the Quest Pro only has one color camera and no depth. And what it can do with the depth camera is now it can automatically identify walls. So if you're playing like a mixed reality thing and you throw the dice from Demio at it, it knows where the wall is. You don't have to mark it out or anything like that, which is
setting
huge.
up your Guardian every time. You won't have you'll be able to have just boom.
Yeah, exactly. It just knows. It just knows where everything is, which is amazing. And it really enhances mixed reality because I can go from my bedroom desk to my living room to my coffee table to my kitchen counter, and it will just know immediately without having to, oh wait, this is my counter, this is this. It changes the game. This is what Quest Pro severely lacked, and I'm not gonna lie, Samson, I think that because of all this technology, there'll be a new Quest Pro next year. I think they have to. I think the Quest Pro is kind of getting more obsolete after this Quest 3.
Yeah, I think they're just going to swan song it, man. I think they're going to get rid of that line.
I think they'll either get rid of the line or just have a complete rethink, and there won't be another one for another 3 years or something like that. I think this is either next year or a long ways out.
It really depends how this Quest 3 sells. I have a hard time believing the Quest 3 will sell as many or more than the Quest 2, really.
Too expensive. Like, it's $50 less than the PlayStation VR. Okay, granted that you need to buy a PS5 for that. But still, it's not like it's cheap. The Quest 2 came at $299 during COVID in a way.
Yeah, when people got bonus money.
Exactly. Where people were just at home, they were, changing their lifestyle. Well, let's see what this Quest is about. It's different. It's a different time. I don't think it beats the Quest 2 at all. But I don't think that's a problem either. But yeah, the Quest Pro, I don't know what's going to happen with this because this one trumps it. The only thing it doesn't have is eye and face tracking. That's the biggest thing. And plus, it's probably going to be more comfortable with the layout. Clarity feels similar to the Quest 2. However, pass-through is night and day improvement because it can use his phone and, like I said, automatically identify walls. The spacing, you got some IPD adjustment, and now that has a dial. So is a limited adjustment between obviously 2 points. So it's not just 3 set points. You can literally do 61.4 if you wanted to, which is going to be great. New controllers lack tracking rings, like I mentioned, but they seem to work absolutely fine. And there's no face or eye tracking in there. That's another thing I was going to say. One of the things I kind of wanted for the Quest 3 is that layout of Quest Pro where it's an open design and have an option to put it in. But obviously that is not in this. It's a full VR headset with mixed reality capabilities, which I'm actually fine for. It's also funny when you watch the trailers, you see them showing how the foam face cover and everything all looks comfortable. I'm like, is it really that comfortable?
It looks better than whatever the egg crate thing we got before was. So, but what I want also on it is, the double tap to, I'm like constantly whacking my freaking head. Just give me a button. Come on. Just give me a button to do that. Give me a pass-through button.
Yeah, the PlayStation VR 2 has just a button and it just works so nicely and so much more convenient, to be honest. I don't know if that's a button unless you can maybe hotkey it. Maybe you could hotkey the power button to press it and it does that, or you hold it to turn it off. Also, the old leaks, if you don't remember, the USB-C has a hole. The strap has a hole where the USB-C part is, which means your straps that you have now are going to be obsolete, unfortunately.
Unless you drill a hole.
Unless you drill a hole. I'm curious. Obviously, we won't find out till September, but I'm curious to see what accessories they come out with this. Last time, they obviously came out with the Elite strap with it because they knew that strap was a piece of crap, right?
And that went well.
It went very well. Of course it did. That and that went very well. It may have snapped, but it went very well. The battery case, but the battery strap seemed to be fine though. It didn't really have a problem. Maybe because it's a bit more sturdier. But the Elite strap obviously had issues. But then they did fix it, to be fair. And I've never had a problem ever since I got a replacement. But I'm wondering if they're going to do that this time. I think they'll announce a battery strap, but I don't know if they'll do an Elite strap. Do they trust this new strap that they have, which is designed slightly differently, still fabric, but is designed slightly differently to make it looks like it's maybe more comfortable on the top of the head kind of thing.
With the Quest 2, I would say it was mandatory to get a second strap, like a third party or the Elite strap. With this one, obviously haven't tried it, but it looks like you might be able to deal with that thing a little bit better.
Also, the headset being
more comfortable. Yeah.
The headset being lighter also probably makes a bit more of a difference with that strap being okay, for sure. But yeah, anyway, that is the Meta Quest 3. In the next podcast, we'll probably dive in a little bit more in terms of what this means for the rest of the year. But that's essentially the details on it. There was a quick 1.5 minute video which showed it off. Definitely have a look at that mixed reality part of the video. It blew my mind, but I don't know if that's as good as it actually looks. But the carpet, honestly, that carpet looked crisp inside of VR. I would be playing, honestly. A lot of people, I think on the stream as well, I think someone mentioned they don't really get the hype of mixed reality as much. And to me, it makes like the relaxing games, like Demio could potentially be a relaxing game, especially if like painting someone in VR or painting a little model. But then you've got Vermilion, speaking of painting VR, you've got Puzzling Places, Cubism, all these games that use mixed reality all of a sudden become even better now because of the full pass through. And I could literally watch a soccer game whilst I'm painting in Vermilion.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, it makes it better or easier to do two things at once, right? Like I could play a game of Demio while having a ball game on, potentially. But really where I see it most applicable is I don't have that many IRL friends coming over or like into VR, but if I got like 2 to 4 people to come over and we wanted to play a board game, we could play Demio and feel like we're all hanging around there as opposed to being really secluded and not seeing one another. That's where it really makes sense to me. It could potentially really change family board game night or family game night.
Yeah, it's basically what the Tilt 5 would be, right? But you don't have to plug it in or anything. You just have your headset and you can, even if you're around a table and you're all wearing headsets, you can still see each other perfectly because you're in mixed reality. You can still pick up your drink of beer and drink it if you wanted to, or your coffee or whatever. And you can play Catan.
I am curious how easy, because right now I can't really drink a soda can
No.
with the Quest 2 on. So I'm curious about how easy it will be. I mean, it's a lot thinner, so I do think it might be possible, but we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll
with the
see.
Quest Pro, I could because it comes out a little bit. That's why as well. But this one's going to be on your face. So I'm not sure. Obviously, your straw, maybe we need to come up with some Let's Talk Oculus straw bottles for Quest 3 launch. Maybe that's something we should do. But anyway, that was the Meta Quest 3. Let us know in the comments and in Discord what are your thoughts on it. Are you going to get it day one? Or are you planning, or are you just going to wait till the Connect? Most likely, this is going to come out at the end of October, just like
Mhm.
the Quest Pro and Quest
Quest 2.
2 as well. Yeah, I was just thinking that that's September and such. So yeah, we'll find out more. Obviously, like I said, we'll do a live stream in the end of September 27th, where they'll probably dive into all of the nitty-gritty details about it, which is going to be very fun to see. And we didn't see GTA at this conference. Maybe they'll save it for that if it's coming. But we'll talk about that in a moment. That's part one. We'll see you in part two.
Hey, we know public lobbies in VR games can be a bit toxic, feel a bit empty at times. That's why we created the Let's Talk Oculus Discord, a friendly community that you can join for multiplayer meetups, general VR chat, the game, and chat about VR, fitness motivation, and there's even a very impressive 3D printing channel. Join over 100 of our community members in the Let's Talk Oculus Discord for free. The link is right in the description.
All right, welcome back to part two. Let's talk about the pre-show, the 15, well, just less than 15 minutes pre-show, which came out hard with like game after game. There was no one talking. I did not expect it. I thought it would be just someone sat on the sofa just talking about 2 or 3 DLC games, but it was just like no talking. This bang, this bang, this bang, this bang, this bang. 1 minute left, and then we'll get straight into the main show. So that really
so
surprised
fast,
me.
Yeah.
It was so fast.
It felt like you're at the movies and you're like, oh, this is the preview started.
Yeah, exactly. Even when I was like writing the script down just to like write what came up, I had to rewind so many times because I didn't have enough time to write what's happening. But anyway, before we kind of get into it, Samson, do you want to read one of our predictions that the someone in the comments left for the last episode?
Yes. So on YouTube, Taller Ghost Walt said, I highly doubt anything along those lines is coming, for talking about our predictions, but I hope Microsoft Game Pass offers a 3D option for select titles as well. Something along the lines of what Vorpix does, allowing for stereoscopic viewing. Unlikely, but it would be nice. And yeah, I'm pretty sad about no Microsoft talk at all, because that was obviously one of my predictions as well. So
yeah, no
thank
Microsoft
you.
talk.
Thank you for the comment, but I'm sad about that.
I don't think you should be too sad, though. I think this is still coming, and it's just for the Kinect, because they'll probably in the Kinect do some Quest Pro stuff in terms of that Microsoft integration with Word and such, and then they'll probably speak about Game Pass like they did last Kinect. So I still think you're gonna be right, but just not. It's just not for this pre-show.
Not yet. Yeah.
So let's run through this. I mean, obviously, stop me. We'll stop and talk about something if we think it's very intriguing. The first one, No More Rainbows. This is out now. No More Rainbows is a flat screen game, I believe, but it's coming to VR and it uses Gorilla Tag movement for VR platforming. And I didn't write it down, but I had a quick brief look at the Upload VR review that they put out, and it was very positive, to be honest. They said the story, I think, was lacking a little bit, but overall very positive out there. Is this one interest you? No More Rainbows?
They also said What the Bat was game of the year. So just with a grain of salt, I'd say with them. Not really, honestly. I like the idea of it more than I think I'll actually like it.
Yeah.
I mean, people who are regular listeners know I love unique movements. I love cool movements, but the Gorilla Tag movement just never stuck with me. I love moving in cool ways, but not like wah, 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 wah. I don't know. It's not for me. But you know, I'll watch some videos on it to really find out, but I don't see this one ending up in my library.
Fair enough. I mean, what about this next one? We got Little Cities. Little Cities updates galore. So they had a Little Citizens update, a Sandbox update, a hand tracking update, and then a Snowy Island DLC. Some of what I just said's coming this month. Some of what I said's coming later on, like the Snowy Island DLC. This is, I don't play Little Cities, but you have it, no?
Yeah. I was gonna say this one's in my library already, but I don't think I've really opened it up. Maybe once.
Classic.
Yeah. It sits there. It sits there in its own little city. Because it's a game that I like. I both like the idea of, and I felt like I would get in because I just like it's chill. It's chill. You just build in the city. It's relaxing.
Oh.
I gotta hop in this one. I do. Maybe maybe in Samson's backlog.
Maybe
we'll get to this one or something. But yeah, it looks cool, and I'm excited that they're continuously updating it. Maybe I get it now. Maybe one of these updates gets me to boot it up. I
don't believe you. Next game.
Now I'll boot it up just to prove you wrong.
All right, next game was Death Game Hotel. By the way, sorry, did I mention? Yeah. No More Rainbows is out now. Little Cities is this month and the rest of the year. Death Game Hotel, this is a wish list game. And every time I say wish list in this podcast, it means sometime in 2023. There's no like actual release date. Death Game Hotel, didn't have a clue what was happening on screen when I saw it. But after reviewing it, it's an online multiplayer where you play through an intense story mode that will require you to literally gamble with your life, betting on your actual limbs with potentially deadly consequences. You'll be also able to take your skills online playing the Goblet of Reaper and Death Poker with up to 5 players around. So this is just like a casino game, just with some horror
body
elements.
Parts instead of money.
Yeah, this is not really in my radar, but I was like, what on earth? This is I like how this is a very unique approach to it.
Yeah. I also had no idea what was going on really while watching this. But now hearing your description and the fact that I know it's multiplayer, maybe I can get Jenna to get it, and I'll get in a few games. So it sounds interesting enough to try out for sure. Pending the price, right? Like pretty much 20 or lower, I'm willing to do it if I can get at least one other person to try it with me, right? Like I can spend 1 or 2 nights and $20 seems worth it to me. I know that's not to everybody, but this game seems cool and funny and weird. Like I'm interested.
To be fair, if this game delivers, I feel like this could be a good Discord community game to play, to be honest. So okay, I shouldn't write it off too much. Next game is Ghost Signal, which is a new update in terms of new ships and potentially something else. But I just saw new ships when I was watching that trailer. That is out now as of today. So if you own Ghost Signal, you can go download that now. And you've played Ghost Signal yet? Or
I have. Not much. I played about an hour, I think.
Okay.
I like it. It sort of feels like an RTS, like a strategy, not really an RTS, but kind of an RTS.
A little bit.
Yeah, you're like, yeah. I'm not very good at it.
No,
I'll say that. I was not very good at it. I know. This is a very popular game, though. I know Gamertag, Mateo311 love it. I get it. It doesn't quite. I mean, it didn't really like soak me in. I should try it out again though, and really give it, a fair shot.
I liked it. I actually refunded this game, to be quite transparent. I gave it honestly almost 2 hours. I got like an hour and a half in it. Played it. I was really enjoying it, but I was like, am I really gonna play this game for longer? I think it's $30, but I was like, no. I was like, I'm not really gonna sink in more time, so I just returned it. But it is. I did enjoy it. It's just that I just knew I wasn't gonna play it again. And I've got lots of games like that. What's the game? I forgot what it's called. It'll come back to me. There's one particular game that I bought and just never played, and it's still infuriating.
It sits there.
I keep it installed. Yeah, I keep it installed. Let's get into one that we will play.
You're talking about like 75% of my library, so
Walkabout mini golf. We predicted, at least I remember predicting it in this, although I only thought there was going to be 3 games in this pre-show, but Walkabout mini golf, Journey to the Center of the Earth comes out on June 8th. We already knew about this one coming, but it comes out on June 8th. It looks nice.
We didn't know how quickly.
Didn't know how quickly. They also announced a new DLC pack called Evil Lairs with the first course called Laser Lair, which is out in July, so just a month afterwards, which looks really cool. I love this. Yeah. I feel like the mechanics for these Evil Lairs games could be so much fun that the team will just put together, just go, okay, what can we put here? Well, what would Dr. Evil have? What would one of these James Bond villains have? So we have a Laser Lair out first, which is going to be fun. And the Fox Hunt is partnered with Exploded Kittens, so they're gonna have like
that's the interesting bit,
yeah, an Exploding Kittens theme. Like obviously we've had themed courses, but now we're having themed Fox Hunts. Are we gonna have themed balls? I mean, we've already had themed balls. What else could they do? I feel like that's everything. But I'm really intrigued to see how it works.
Well, this is interesting because it's not like an Exploding Kittens course, right? No. It's just the Fox Hunt is sponsored by them. So yeah, it's that's the interesting bit. I'm into it, you know.
I've never actually played Exploding Kittens. I do have it at home. I got it gifted. I just never used it. It's still sealed.
I played it once or twice with an eclectic group of friends, and it is a weird game. It's a weird game, man.
So maybe think about it a bit more and see if you can put together what the Fox Hunt might be. I'm intrigued. And then finally, they said the Pocket Edition is out in the summer, which is the iPhone/iPad version of the game. They did say it will come to Android at some point, but I know it's focused on Apple for now. And this is also works, like say if you were in VR and I was sitting on the couch, I could play with you, but just using my phone or iPad. This. Yeah, me too. I think this is going to be a great update. I mean, it was meant to come out last year and such, and it just kept getting delayed. And hopefully they're finally ready and it works. It must have been very challenging to get it working as that's why it's probably taking so long. Yeah.
It seems like they probably wanted to get their PSVR 2 version out, make sure that was good, free of bugs, which it had bugs that now they've been fixing, and then work on the phone version because really it's their last frontier, if you will.
The final frontier. No, I agree. Then we go on to a game that I was really confused about, and so are you. I remember watching the live stream. Onward had an update with new guns and animations. It's out right now. But when we watched the whole thing, it just looked like a commercial for Onward. Like nothing was coming out.
Yeah, I'm sure if you are an Onward regular, you picked up on all the new guns and all the new animations. But yeah, as someone who's never played it, or maybe I booted it up once on my Quest 1, it just looked like an updated graphics Onward.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure if you're an Onward fan, you're happy about this. I don't know that if you don't own Onward, that this is going to be like, now I'm going to get Onward.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Next one is really exciting. That's Demeo Battles, which is their head-to-head mode. 1v1 and 2v2. Had a really sweet trailer. This one's a wishlist game. We don't know when it's actually going to come out, or at least the update's going to come out. But I know you love some Demeo, right? I'm really excited for Demeo now because obviously with the Quest 3, when I played Demeo Quest Pro Mixed Reality, it wasn't perfect because Quest Pro's Mixed Reality is okay in terms of the visuals. It's better, but it's still not that great. I'm excited to play this again, or just excited to play Demeo again. But in terms of just a big Demeo fan, does this one excite you? Are you into the more PvP kind of?
I'm definitely not more into the PvP, but I am into Demeo, and it being a 1-on-1 or 2-on-2, I do feel like I can get my buddy Will or Kai to play a few games of this with me. I am curious, like a Demeo game takes 2 to 3 hours, right? I'm curious if this will be smaller bites of Demeo. If a game is 15 to 30 minutes and you're still getting that kind of Demeo vibe and that it scratches that itch, that's more appealing. If it's a 2-hour 1-on-1 battle, It's a bit much.
I
But I don't think it'll be that long.
No.
But I am curious. It could be anywhere from a really quick, 2 minutes, right? Like it could be really fast. A Rocket League game is 5 minutes. So
True.
Ultimate's game was like 3 to 5 minutes, 3, 4, or 5. So I'm curious on the length it'll take.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely interested. Yeah.
I can still see it taking a little longer, like 10 to 20 minutes, but we won't be taking too long. I think it's clever with them though, because they started with the 3 hour, your quest is going to die, you got to commit to it, big experience, and then they went down to that you didn't need 4, you just needed 2, right? And then that would obviously reduce your time, it should reduce your time a little bit. Then they have all these hangout parts, they have the painting, they have other options where you don't have to spend so long in the Demia battles. So this would be nice to have a head-to-head where there's now another mode where it's not that long. So if you just want to get that, scratch that itch, just like you're saying, you can do it in a quicker, shorter experience. Yeah, I'm really intrigued to see how this works, to be honest. I actually don't know. Probably people do know, but I actually don't know how the head-to-head's going to work. But I am definitely interested in this one. And then the next one is We Are One, which is, think of Last Clockwinder, which won most of the VR awards last year, with shooting, essentially. So it's a puzzle game where you have to clone yourself over and over again to do certain actions, but there are shooting aspects because there are enemies there as well. That's what it kind of looks like. That's out now. It's got a funky art style, to be honest. The Upload VR review really liked it. They said the story was weak as well, but like the first game, but overall it was just really well done. A lot of good puzzles and such. So that's another one. We Are One is out now. Did you ever play the Last Clockwinder, let alone this one?
I have not. I think I actually installed it. It was on App Lab as a demo, I believe, for a while, and I don't think I ever ended up hopping in it.
So this one's probably the same.
This one seems like our patron Kim would probably like this one. A nice puzzle game. I've heard good things about it, and it does look cool, but I don't think I'd get in it and really like truck through it and finish it. I'd probably get in it, I'd play for an hour or two, be like, that was cool, and then it would get lost in my backlog again.
Yeah, me too.
I'm getting better, all right?
Fair enough. Me too, to be honest. Here's one thing that really frustrates me with the Quest, which is always a barrier to play it, is when I turn it on, it's so laggy. I'm like, and then also because I have a 64 gig game, I look at it and go, I don't want to play these games. The one I want to play, I need to install, but then I need to delete, and that sounds like a me problem. Anyway, I'm ranting on.
I'm definitely finding that I'm more cautious about the single player games I buy, because I know myself, and if it's multiplayer, like with Demia, I'm more inclined to buy that Demia Battles than I am We Are One.
Yeah, simply
because it's multiplayer.
Makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense, unless you streamed on a regular basis. The next one I think is you'll get, though. It's Power Wash Simulator, and it might be, apart from Walkabout, you'll probably highlight of the pre-show, right?
Yo, I'm excited for this. I bought it when it went on really cheap, I think, for Steam. So I was like, I know VR's on their roadmap, so I'm going to buy it. I'm honestly hoping that when it releases on Quest, the PC Steam version will also have the VR added to it, because Power Wash Simulator is not necessarily a game I want to own on 2 platforms.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's,
it depends on the
it does
washing visuals.
It looks cool. It's so calm and soothing, and if you could power wash with 2 people, though, I'm more inclined to buy it.
Is there multiplayer in the standalone game, in the flat screen one?
I'm not sure, because I haven't installed it. I bought it with the hope to one day play it in VR. Yeah.
Very well. That's another wish list game. Is out sometime this year, but we don't know. And that was the pre-show. Overall,
it also works on my Steam Deck. But go on.
The Power Wash, nice. Yeah. Overall, a quick review of the pre-show. I thought it was really good, even though some of these games I wasn't really interested in. I just think the way they did it was like, here's 13 maybe smaller titles / a couple updates. Let me just reel them off. Boom, 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 boom. And okay, there you go. We're waiting for the main show now for another couple minutes. I think they did it great. It was way better than I thought. My prediction was Among Us DLC, which we never got, unfortunately.
That's sad.
Beat Saber DLC, which we pretty much got from the PlayStation showcase with the Queen, and then a Walkabout DLC, which kind of was announced before, but then they did have a section in here. And that's it. I thought there'd just be 3 things. Or I did the German 3 there. 3 things. But
I didn't know the Germans had their own 3.
They do. I was watching Inglourious Bastards the other day, and it's like the German 3 is this way.
This is the baseball 3, I believe. Like it's because the outfilders, you gotta like
fair enough
differentiate.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that I thought it was solid. Do you really like it? I thought it was a good pre-show.
I agree. I think that this was quality.
Though
I'm not into them all. Yeah.
Yeah. Before we get into part 3 or round out here, do you want to read out another prediction that
Yes.
A follower put down?
Yep. Also from the YouTube. Thank you so much. Gaming Fire. So my games I'm hoping to be at this showcase are Roblox, GTA, with new information, Minecraft, Ghostbusters, Spider-Man, Farming or Power Wash Simulator, or Police Simulator, or Firewater Simulator, something fun and interesting. So, boom, got Power Wash, got Ghostbusters. And,
technically got Spider-Man with Attack on Titan or what it looked like, but we'll talk about that in a moment.
It does look like a Spider-Man-esque game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you on the Roblox and the Minecraft. I did kind of want those. And yeah, RIP GTA. That thing dead.
You think it's gone? Interesting.
They just never they're gonna pretend like they never mentioned it, much like Onward 2.
You know what? Because let's get into part 3 because we had Assassin's Creed and it's worth talking about it. So we'll round that off for part 2. A very excellent pre-show. Big fan of that. I hope they keep the same for next year as well. They did really well. And let's see you in part 3. Let's Talk Oculus is available on all good podcast platforms and some rubbish ones as well. If you want to see the video version, it's available on YouTube and Spotify. And also, if you love us so much, then consider throwing us $1 at patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus. Back to the show. All right, welcome back to part 3. Let's talk about the main show of the MetaQuest showcase. And we started off strong with Samba de Amigo. Now, I remember in the group chat, or rather just in the live stream chat, people were like, what on earth is this and such. But as I went into it a little bit, it's a Dreamcast classic, which has also been announced to come to Switch this year as well. But we didn't really know about the VR version. This is actually one of the emojis hints. This power washing and one other one, which I'm not sure linked to, but this is, yeah. Like
this was the one with the monkey, I imagine.
Yeah, and the maracas and the trumpet and such. I think it was the last one that they sent.
Yeah.
A wish list game, so it comes out somewhere in 2023. You just use your maracas to kind of dance and such. And I actually think could be quite popular, to be honest. I think people from that era.
The rhythm people out there are probably going to dig it. I mean, the thing is, it doesn't look like the rhythm game that's going to be a workout, right? This doesn't look like the fast movements of Beat Saber or Synth Riders. So yeah, I'm curious. I'm not too interested in it, but I'll give it a glance in some videos that hopefully somebody will review it.
Yeah, it's not for me, but I think people will like it. The next one is I Expect You to Die 3, another game that's not for me just because I've stuck on the first one. So it doesn't make sense for me to buy the third one. But these are solid games. This comes out this summer. I was hoping that it would tell me like if it's June or July because it has said summer for the rest of this whole year since it's been announced. But no, it's just coming out this summer and it looks solid. It just looked like more I Expect You to Die, which is always great, to be honest. It's a really good escape room like puzzle game and it's seated as well in VR, and yeah, if you're into that kind of thing, I highly recommend it. Kimberly, patron of the show, is a massive fan, and I know she's going to buy that day one for sure.
Yeah, for sure. If you are at all interested in We Are One, you're probably going to be interested in this as well. Like similar, not similar vibe, but puzzly, right? Like
Yeah.
puzzly.
Seated, and it's got a great like Kingsman / James Bond / kind of feel.
Soundtrack seems pretty good.
Soundtracks are
giving
solid.
me some vibes. Yeah.
Yeah, the soundtrack's solid. The art style is really good. This is just the first one that I remember, and the puzzles are actually really well done. They are really challenging sometimes, as you can see, but maybe I'm just an idiot. On to the next one.
As you can imagine, the first two sit in my library unbeaten.
Yeah, I have the first two too, but anywho, this next one, Silent Slayer, Vault of the Vampire, is on wishlist. This is a suspenseful single-player jump scare game. Like specifically says, this is a jump scare game. And what you have to do is essentially slay zombies before they wake. So you got to be quiet. You got to go down into the cellar, be like, "Oh, there's the casket or whatever," and you're just sneaking around, not to trip before and you want to open it and kill that zombie, put a stake in its heart before.
The vampire, not zombie.
Sorry, the vampire. Oh yeah, I wrote zombies on the thing. Yeah, on my script. The vampire before the vampire wakes up. But yeah, jump scare game. We're gonna buy this for Samson. Just saying to everyone at home, and we're gonna live stream this for sure.
I'll need to clean my underwear afterwards.
You just have to wear some diapers.
I'll curl up in a ball, yeah. Maybe crickets.
I'm assuming this is not for you.
No. But if you're into the horror, or what, the jump scaring, if you liked Five Nights at Freddy's,
that's true. Yeah, you're right. Actually, that's a good shout. I do like the horror games. Not so much recently, by the way. It's when I put on a horror game. Which one did I put on? Was it? Oh, I can't remember what it's called, but I put one on recently, like within the last month or two. And it was just Walking Dead. That's it. It was just Walking Dead. And because I haven't played a horror game in VR for so long, I was scared. So, just slowly walking and like, oh my gosh. And Walking Dead's not that scary compared to most of these horror games. Like, definitely won't be scarier than Silent Slayer. But I was scared because I didn't have my horror VR legs anymore. Or Resident Evil 8 as well. When I put that on the PSVR, I was like, I'm petrified of the tutorial. The tutorial was just how to pick up weapons, shoot guns, and turn a light on. It was just in a car park. That's what it was, not a car park, sorry, like a car garage from in your house where there's a car there, and it's just all pitch black because it was showing you how to use your torch and such. And there were no jump scares whatsoever. But god damn, I'm scared.
It's a vibe, yeah.
So my horror legs are slightly falling away. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah. Okay, next horror game-ish is Ghostbusters Rise of the Ghost Lord. This is also on wishlist. Unfortunately, we still didn't get a release date. Did they say fall? They did say fall 2023, but
And they actually showed footage,
they showed footage. Quest 3 or Quest 2 footage for sure. Yeah. Most likely Quest 3 at this point. It's an After the Fall light co-op shooter. If none of you have heard of it, you probably have now. Is this game for you? Because for me, it's not, because After the Fall, I played a few games, but then just stopped because I don't really play it with anybody.
Oh, I still play After the Fall every once in a while. I don't know. I'm not that many hours in, probably 10 or so.
Sure.
But I do. It is a game I try to get in every once in a while with people. So I was never into Ghostbusters, I'll be honest. But I'm into a 4-player co-op shooter. So once again, if I'm convincing people from the Discord to play this, I'd get in. I'm curious to hear about the gameplay and all that before I necessarily make that choice. And I'm curious how scary it is. Isn't Ghostbusters a comedy kind of movie? It's got Bill Murray in it and all them. Like, they're friggin' comedians, dude.
It is, but in VR, I feel like it can make you jump. Like, it's not going to be Silent Slayer, Vampire, and Vault of the Vampire, but it will still spook you, shall I say. It'd probably be the same horror level as After the Fall, because After the Fall is technically not that much of a horror. It's just a lot of goriness and zombies, right? But I think this will be a similar thing. It won't be gory, but
Yeah, I was gonna say part of what I like about
Yeah.
After the Fall is all the blood. So
Yeah,
am I crazy? I don't know.
won't be that, but I would be interested in this if I knew if there was some people in the community, in the Discord community, who wanted to play this often. I would probably pick it up. I most likely think this is going to be a $40 full price game. And I don't know
Hey,
if I
careful
want
saying
to.
full price at 40 these days.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Um, the next one was one that I had no idea of, and that's Underdogs, which is a mech arena fighter. And this actually comes out in 2024, according to Upload
Oh,
VR. That's what the Upload VR said it comes out next year. This is the only one that came out is that says it's going to come out in 2024. It has comic book themed visuals. The trailer was really good. You were literally, it seemed like Gorn in a way, but much darker, and you're in a mech and there's loads of robots kind of thing trying to kill you, and there's
like
lots of
dogs, like robot
yeah,
dogs.
like
Yeah.
robot dogs. The music was wicked. I don't know what the song was, but it was really cool. Um, yeah, I really like this. I would be really intrigued. Now it's a 2024, it's something that I can just put on the back burner, but I'd be really intrigued to see how this one does because the trailer slapped, to be honest.
And it's an arena fighter. I
Yeah.
believe it's like waves that you're fighting, right?
Yes.
As opposed to, it's not like a PvP game.
No, that's what I mean. It's like Gorn, I think, where there's
Yeah.
just waves of people coming at you at a certain
Yeah.
time. Maybe you don't
Yeah.
break anything. Who knows?
Yeah, I stopped playing Gorn the day I broke my window shade playing
hit,
Gorn.
hit the Quest Pro controller at my wall, and I
Yeah.
was like, "That's enough." Can't
Yeah,
afford to
especially because
not
you had to
return
return them.
this.
Yeah. Awesome.
But-
Yeah, this is one I'm curious to see what reviews say. It looks good. Price wise, gotta tell, but this is one that I might be like, yeah, I'll buy this just to play for a couple hours. I don't see this isn't a game I see myself like sitting down and being like, I gotta beat it. I gotta get through this story. But it does look like cool mechanics that are fun, and the art style is pretty neat.
Yeah, I think this could be just a fun game. I think remember Robo Recall? Did you ever play that one?
Mhm.
Yeah, like where you're like in one spot, but you're just constantly fighting robots and such. I think this
That was
could
fun.
be similar in a way, but more dark. That's what I'm kind of gathering. Maybe I'm searching quite far for that. The next one's an interesting one. So NFL Pro Era, the main person behind NFL Pro Era, who's a wide receiver, and I forgot his name.
Andrew Hawkins.
There we go.
I think he used to play for the Bengals.
We count on the American to help me out there.
And he used to play. I used to be so into playing Madden with my old best friend in middle school. Every weekend we'd play hours and hours of Madden.
Nice.
And so, yeah.
You know all the players. Yeah, that's like me.
Back then, I know players from like 20 years ago, but now not so much.
That's like me in FIFA. I used to play it all the time, and I knew everyone. Everyone.
Dude, I didn't realize FIFA 23 had a random tangent here. Had Ted Lasso and AFC Richmond put into it. I gotta buy that stuff now. I gotta buy
it. You get it cheap. You get it cheap. It's on It's on Game Pass as well, but you'll get it cheap.
I gotta buy it on Steam. But I'm waiting for a cheap discount on it.
You'll get it hella cheap. The season's over now, so you'll get it hella cheap. But yeah, they've had it since the day one.
It was 8 months ago.
Yeah. So I was saying, NFL Pro Era. So he came on and he said he's just talking. There's no trailer or anything. He's just talking about the new Pro Era, and he said multiplayer quarterback. So in Pro Era, you play as a quarterback, and what they're now bringing, which is so good because the multiplayer in Pro Era was the worst part of it, is they're finally bringing more of a head-to-head mode where you're just quarterback.
Right now, it's just pass, right? You just
now it's just like mini games. That's all it is online. It's crap, to be honest. The main part of Pro Era is really fun. I had a good time with it. There's a review on the Playtest VR YouTube channel, but the multiplayer sucked. But anyway, they said they're going to bring new modes, new features, and it's not going to be just your regular roster update. The way he was talking, this is not confirmed. The way he was talking is that this is going to be a new game rather than
the vibe I got.
Yeah, rather than just an update, which really bums me out because NFL Pro Era was $30 and it didn't feel like it was $30. And I said it in the review too. I was like, if this gets the multiplayer, it's worth the $30. And the way he sounded was just that Pro Era 1 is disappearing and they're going to bring Pro Era 2 or Pro Era 23, whatever they want to call it, in terms of like a normal sports franchise. And that bums me out. I know in sports games, we just talked about FIFA and Madden, you buy it every year and such, but it just didn't feel like a complete game, the first one, and I feel like the second one will finally be one.
I'm real curious about this now, and I will tweet at them and find out, because I got that same vibe.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is that sneaky EA Sports trick. Oh, baby.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's such a niche market within a niche market, like the sports fans in VR, especially American sport. Whereas like, GT VR was playing this game. He's like, I don't know how to play football. Like Nathy don't,
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm curious if if it'll be that. I understand maybe like a paid DLC would make more sense. I don't know. Keep updating the game for a year. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. I would have liked, I understand the sports kind of franchise model, but yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think at least just update this one so it feels like more of a full game, and then maybe the next one bring out a new version or something like that. I don't know. I agree. I couldn't say it better than myself. Like, to be honest, I agree with you. I think just it's a niche within a niche within a niche, and I'm not going to bother buying. As much as I loved playing NFL Pro Era and completing that season, I would not buy the second one just because like I've had my fix. I just want a new experience now.
Yeah.
But if they had just given me a free update or a $5 update or
you'd hop in.
I'd hop in for sure, absolutely. But never mind. Next sports game, Racket Club.
I'm getting it.
Do you want to explain Racket Club to everyone? What even is this game?
Not particularly, because I don't really know quite all of it, but it is pickleball at its core. And pickleball is essentially a small court tennis or ping pong on a court. Slightly, there's slightly different rules. I think the ball can bounce. It doesn't have to.
Yeah.
You can play up. You can play a bit back. There's not that much moving. So it might be better for VR because like a part of tennis, I was like, how do you move all that with distance? Like, and how does it gauge whether or not you could actually make it there? Whereas I'm curious if it's a room scale game.
I think it could be. Like, doesn't need to be. I don't know, but you're right though. It's pickleball. You don't move that much. I think it's actually perfect for VR if you're going to bring any racket sports. And I think I mentioned in the stream too. It's called Racket Club. Are they opening their doors of potentially having more racket titles? Like, would we see a squash one, for example? Would we see that? I don't know how that's really going to work, but would we see more than just racquetball, squash? Like, I don't know how that would work, but yeah, the pickleball makes a lot of sense.
I do like squash.
Yeah, I like both of them. They were just so much fun. I haven't played it for years, but like I was a big fan of that. But yeah, I think it's going to work well, and it had nice visuals, and it's one of those where I probably won't be interested in, but if they send me a code, I would love to play it.
I'll get it. I can't imagine this one's going to be more. This would be like the 15 to 20 range, I imagine.
Yeah,
visuals are cool. It gave me sort of a bocce time vibe of like,
me too.
sort of you just hop in, you go right into your game, and everything feels pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. I'm interested.
Yeah, for sure. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, this is just a wish list game. This is sometime this year. No release date. We didn't get many release dates now thinking about it. But yeah, that's
not that surprising, especially in VR, right? It's
not for Quest
video game. Yeah, like
not for Quest.
We tend to find out about games like 2 to 3 weeks before potentially.
Yeah.
And I like it. I don't want a release date and then it get pushed, right?
Yeah.
Finish the product, make sure it's good. And then just give me a month. I don't need that much more time, especially knowing that they exist. We've seen footage of all these games.
That's all I need to know too.
Yeah, exactly.
All I want is like this. I think the showcase is in a great spot where it came out in June. Maybe if it was a little earlier, like in May, would be even better. But then just give us a timeline of like what do I have to look forward to this year, and that's all. And that's kind of why I was disappointed with the PlayStation one, that it didn't really give me that. So I'm like, Anyway, Vampire: The Masquerade Justice is coming out in sometime for 2023. This is also on wish list. This gave me Dishonored vibes. I don't know if you've played Dishonored before, but it's a
Dishonored be in my Steam library that I also haven't played.
Dishonored is a Bethesda game on the flat screen. Dishonored 1's can't remember. I don't think I played one, but 2 is fantastic, and it's
Dude, I heard one's better. I heard one's
really
better.
2 is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've not played 1, but 2 is like wicked, and it's a first person, and you can either play it as a stealth game or a full action game. You'd probably want to do a bit of both. There's like magic and such, and the way if you watch the trailer of this Vampire: The Masquerade Justice, it looks very Dishonored vibes, which really excites me. I don't know if it'll be as good as that because Dishonored is a very underrated game, but yeah. This one actually intrigued me. I didn't care for it when I was watching the stream, but then when I watched it back before doing this podcast, I actually got really interested into it. I thought actually this could be if it has a good, compelling story, I think this could be a really good game to play.
This is probably one I pass on.
Yeah, fair enough. It doesn't look like a horror game either. It looks like I'm sure it has like the vampire part of things, but it didn't look like it's going to be scary.
Yeah.
The next one, which is very exciting for some, Dungeons of Eternity, which is a procedurally, well, at least I think it's procedurally the way they're talking about it, procedurally generated dungeon hunter, which has a solo mode or a 4-player co-op. Realistic physics, is a hack and slash combat, and they call it an endless RPG. So I'm assuming that's procedurally generated. Like each time you go into the dungeon, it looks different every single time. This is a wishlist game, but I'm not gonna lie, it's not really for me because I don't think I don't know. I'm not sure if I'd be into that per se, but this has got to be in. There's a lot of people are going to be into this. This looked great. We had Show Futuristic in the chat for the live stream, and he was all about this. More power to you. I think this looks great for people who are into that kind of dungeon hunter game.
Yeah, I'm less into RPG, more into 4-player co-op. So yeah, it did look cool. But yeah, this is one that will definitely hinge on. I mean, I'm not playing this game solo. I know that. So.
No, I agree. But this looked great. Honestly, it's the realistic physics in terms of the hack and slash seems like it'd be really fun, especially with like I'm assuming they'll have. Well, is it realistic physics, or does that mean like ragdoll kind of physics effects, or does that just mean if I chop someone off in the head, it just acts as gory as I think it would? Probably.
Yeah, realistic physics could mean it's weird to say, but it could mean a wide range of kind of things. Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, like I said, I think a lot of people will be excited about that game for sure. And we move on to the 7th Guest VR, which was a complete surprise. For those of you who don't know, this is a huge title in the 90s on PC. You know, the times when like Myst was around. This was
I can't believe you heard of this one.
Yeah, when I saw the mansion and then the logo pop up, I was like, oh my gosh, I know exactly this. I remember my dad playing this. It came even like Ruth in the actual stream. She had the CD-ROM. It came on like a double disc, and he used to play it on the PC, and it was scary. And it's weird because it's a point and click adventure, but it was scary. Like the stories were scary. The people who will share those stories in terms of what they look like. I don't have too much memories, but I just remember it being hella scary. It scared the crap out of me. It was very eerie. And every time I picked that game up from his bookshelf, it used to scare the hell out of me. Just looking at the cover, and because I just know it would just take me back to that. Really, this is a wish list game, so it's coming out sometime in 2023. A lot of people haven't heard of this game, but a lot of people had. I think Steve in the chat and patron of the show, he was super hyped about this. I know Edward Felix, right, from Walkabout Mini Golf, who we've had a couple of times.
Did he tweet about it?
Yeah, he tweeted. He was like, 7th guest. Pumped about this as well, which is really exciting. I mean, it's in that Myst vein in terms of it's a puzzling game in a way, but obviously also with a lot of horror elements as well. Yeah,
I'd love like a game like this to come out with a Walkabout course at the same time.
Yeah,
some sort of dual marketing scheme or something like that. That'd be cool.
this could be a great walkabout course, actually. Now you say it, in terms of now if they've rebuilt this world in 3D, walkabout would be like, okay, now we can kind of use those assets to kind of build our own.
Yeah.
The one thing I wanted to mention before we move on is they're using this new technology, or at least I've never heard of it before. It's called volumetric video capture for the live actors. So the actual NPCs on not on stage, but like in the game, all their reactions and such look very realistic. Kind of like LA Noire kind of technology way back in the day, where their facial reactions look really realistic. And I'm really intrigued to see how that works. Honestly, if it wasn't for showing my dad, I wouldn't buy this game, because I'm getting more scared in VR. But obviously, I kind of, when I come home for Christmas later on this year, I feel like I'd bring my VR headset,
You gotta show him.
and show him, and maybe leave him
And
the
give
Quest
him
2.
the Quest 2 with that
with
on
it with installed as that game and the Walkabout, and the only two games that could probably fit on there, and that would do.
Here's what you're gonna have to. Yeah. Well, if you give him the Quest 2, you're gonna want him to have his own login.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'll have to either not buy it, and then you could buy it and give him the referral.
Yeah, we got options. We got options. We'll talk about that later.
I don't think I'm gonna buy this one.
No, I didn't really think so. But maybe the next one. We still keep going, by the way. I think there's like six. There was
wild, dude. This is wild.
16
5 left. Yeah.
It's mental.
6
right?
left.
6 left. It is 1:15 a.m. We're gonna keep going. We've got Arizona Sunshine 2, which is out sometime this year. I was so happy to see this, not because I was interested in playing it, but more because it was coming out for PlayStation VR 2 and PC VR, and Quest wasn't announced. And I thought that was a real shame, especially for a lot of people who are into it. And it's coming out on Quest, which is super fun. And also, one thing before I pass the torch, I said it in the stream, and I really hope this has a Dead Rising kind of feel of it, where you can craft random weapons. Like I can get a baseball bat, attach it to a samurai stick, attach it to, I don't know, a sushi knife, a sushi spoon or something, and just cab at it at these zombies, and just have some random fun, or just like drive a lawnmower over a big crowd of zombies. I don't know if it works like that, but I'm hoping that's what we're gonna get. But I could be wrong. But anyway, is this something on your radar? Were you a big fan of the first one?
Not so sure about that. I never beat the first one. I did play it for a few hours. That was a game when I bought one of my good friends was Quest. I got him that because I knew it was a co-op. So we played a couple rounds of the Horde mode. Arizona Sunshine 1's one of the most popular games at the Bubbler, at our VR arcades.
Nice.
And so I'll get this one on PC most likely, mostly for the graphics and all the blood that I know won't disappear. So yeah, I'm interested in this, not so much interested in this particular version. I did think it was always going to come, at least to Quest 3. Once I saw that it wasn't a PC, once I saw it wasn't a PSVR exclusive.
Yeah.
If you're keeping your PSVR though, I would recommend this game. That would be the definitive way to play this game, I imagine.
I agree. I posted in the Discord earlier that I was thinking of selling it, and I am thinking of selling it only because I think I'm in a bit of a lull with the PSVR 2 at the moment, but I don't think I will. I think I'm just going to stick with it for at least this year and see how this year plays out and such, and go from there.
They're still in their soft launch, kind of.
They're still in their soft launch and such. But yeah, you're right. Like Arizona Sunshine, if I wanted to play it, I'd buy it on there. Ghostbusters as well, I'd probably buy it on there. You know, the bigger titles, and we'll get onto those in a second, I'd probably buy them on the PlayStation VR. But I don't know, that Quest 3 might be good enough. You know, it's kind of like the camera phone situation, where the best camera is the one that is in your pocket, where you can just pick it up straight away and shoot. And sometimes I'm like, this is the Quest 3, right? Where I can just pick it up anywhere. I can be in my room and just play it. I don't have to, you know, take it out, put the cable in, and go into the living room and take over the TV for everyone just to kind of play the VR, you know, when you're living with roommates. So I don't know. We're thinking about it. I'm still hyped on the PlayStation VR. I just need something else. Give me a state of play. But anyway, let's move on. we've got Stranger Things VR, another horror kind of game. We've had a few of those in this one, but this is completely different too. You play as Vecna in the show, so people, I won't say any spoilers because I know Samson hasn't seen any of it, but it's really good. You should definitely.
I don't mind spoilers, but yeah, for the people.
For the people, you play as Vecna. So if you've watched the last season, you know who Vecna is. I'm not going to tell you who that is, but let's just say he's the bad guy. Let's just say he's the bad guy, and you play as him, which is going to be really interesting and really interesting in terms of a visual sense, but in terms of just a narrative sense as well. It didn't, I'm not gonna lie, it didn't look good to me. This one is one of the games that was in this showcase that actually was like, I was a bit on it in terms of the trailer. It looked a bit all the visuals, at least in the trailer, all look kind of squashed together in terms of the color palette and such, and it didn't look that great to me. But this is a wish list game that's coming out sometime this year, just like most of these titles. So maybe I just need to see more of it to get excited of it. But yeah, it's a later thing. I'm assuming this one's not for you because you've not really watched it at all. So
precisely.
Moving on. How about this one? Attack of the Titan VR Unbreakable. We saw some gameplay. It was pre-rendered gameplay. It wasn't actual in-house. It looked like Spider-Man meets old Assassin's Creed to me in terms of like the old Assassin's Creed Rome kind of feels, but then you're Spider-Manning through everything. This one's coming out sometime in 2023. The cool thing is that this is single player and 2-player co-op, and also has Japanese language support, which I feel like most people will play it in because that's just how the anime would be. And it would just, you can just watch it, you can just play it with subtitles on. You can get a dubbed version as well of English, but it's like when I played Ghost of Tsushima on PlayStation, and I just played that with Japanese language with subtitles because it just felt more authentic watching like a Japanese film. So I think a lot of people play like that. But is this one interested you at all? Do you know much of this anime?
I do not know the anime. It did look intriguing enough, and the movement looked cool enough to sway me. It looked very cool. Yeah, this one it looks solid. It looked pretty solid. I'm not going to parse words here. Yeah. And yeah, I'd say I'm interested. And once again, I'm not as interested in the single player. I'd probably play it and then be like, yo, what up? Come on, let's play this game together. And yeah. I can't imagine I'd beat the single player is my point. But I'm interested in this. I love cool moving. And it's the flying around. Yeah, it looked pretty cool.
It looked fast. It looked fast.
The fact that it, yeah, exactly, yeah. And I hope it. I don't know how many of these games are going to be cross-buy with Rift Store, but I'm hoping a couple of these games are coming to PC VR.
Yeah, because they mentioned PC VR right at the end, which we'll talk about, but they didn't really mention it. Yeah, I don't think they mentioned it, period, PC VR. Like, it was always coming to Quest. It's the Meta Quest gaming showcase. There's no... Rift is gone, right? That makes sense. It's gone. But they didn't even say it's coming to PC VR at all. So I think that's just one that later on we'll just find out. Or if I did some more research and it wasn't this late, I'd be able to find out if it's also coming to PC. Like this next game, Bulletstorm VR. Absolute surprise. It came out of nowhere. I lost my shit, basically. Yeah. Let's be honest.
Yeah, you pulled out.
I saw that. Kimberly in the chat was laughing at me because she was like loving the reaction. But Bulletstorm, for those of you who don't know Bulletstorm, it is a game that came out in around 2011, and it was developed or co-developed at least by the people from Gears of War. Not the Coalition who do Gears of War now, but who did the first 3 Gears of War. I don't remember what the actual they were called, but they basically were producing Bulletstorm, or the people from them were producing Bulletstorm. And then when Bulletstorm came out, if you bought the Epic Edition, maybe it was called Epic Games actually. When you bought the Epic Edition, then you could get Gears of War 3 as a beta sign up because that was coming out later that year. So that tells you how long it was. But it's Bulletstorm VR. I remember me and my uncle actually picking this game up together. He had an Xbox. I think I had it on PS3. But so fun. It's just one of those games where it's a really solid shooter, but then it has this like because it's like grab kind of mechanic to it, which makes it very satisfying to like traverse in the world. And also you really get a lot of good points by getting like headshots or cool ways to like creative ways to kill people rather than just running and gunning everything. So I had so much fun. It was so long ago that I played it, like I said, back in 2011 and such, and it's never been. Actually, I think it may have got re-released for PS4 and such, but I never picked it up
on
then.
Steam.
Yeah, so I think it got remastered, but I never picked it up. I never picked it up again. It's one of those games where you play it once and you don't really need to play again because the story is not like memorable or anything. It's not like a Gears of War 2 or 3 that you'd want to play it again. But I just remember it being so much fun and so fun to creatively kill different enemies in different types of ways. And this was a complete surprise. I don't think anyone was thinking about Bulletstorm at all. This and the Seventh Guest is like the two ports. No one was thinking of those two games coming on VR, and we got them. So I am super excited for this. This is a game that if I have my PSVR 2, I will be buying it on this one because it's just going to look beautiful. But it's on wish list. It's 2023 sometime this year. Yeah, that's all I got to say with it. I'm excited for this one. This is going to be...
Yeah, this is a buy. This is a buy. Buy. This one's
cool. Excellent. All right, moving swiftly on. We've got two more.
I know you want to go to bed.
We got two. I'm dying here, but we got two more left. Assassin's Creed Nexus VR. What the hell? I thought this was dead in the water. Even though we had some leaks. Were those leaks even true? Yes, they were. Assassin's Creed Nexus VR. It is coming out. We didn't get anything. It was just here's pretty much the logo, and at the Ubisoft Forward, I think it's called, which is their showcase essentially on June 12th. This is being announced. And to be honest, that was my prediction. I didn't think we'll see it. But I was like, if we did see it, it would be at Ubisoft's. And
you still think it? You think it exists? You confident it exists still?
I think so. I think so. I'm not too sure. No, yeah, of course. So we'll find out more on June 12th, and obviously when we do a podcast later on this month, we'll find out more about it and we'll talk more about it for sure. Are you excited about this one? Is this up your alley? Like, are you really excited to find out finally what this game is?
Yeah. I mean, it could be, in my mind, really cool, awesome. I'm still not convinced it 100% exists.
Yep.
Until I see game footage. I saw someone in a Discord was like, according to the Ubisoft earnings call, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
So it could release soon as well, once they talk about it. But
yeah,
who knows? This is Ubisoft, and Ubisoft often sucks.
Well, okay, so I tweeted Assassin's Creed is really coming, and then a follower of mine, Wicked Games, I don't know if they're telling the truth. I have no way to checking this, but they said, sure is, I play tested it last year and said it was worth the wait. And then he also said, good is an understatement. I really wish that I wasn't NDA'd to hell and back so I could talk about the awesome things in Nexus. So I don't know if he's just really pro Assassin's Creed and buzzing, or he actually did play test it. I don't know, but yeah, according to him, it's worth it. And I mean, we'll find out in 10 days time. We'll find out in 10 days time.
Not long.
It's not long. And obviously seeing games like Attack of the Titan VR and Asgard's Wrath, which we'll speak about in a second, I can see this working really well now after seeing those games,
True.
And let's kind of talk about it. So this is the last game and it's the big reveal. So Asgard's Wrath 2, we knew this was coming because they teased it at the end of the announcement of the showcase, and plus it got leaked yesterday, but we didn't talk about that here. But it did get leaked in terms of the screenshot, the cover art, and some of it. But anyway, it's good to see Asgard's Wrath 2. 60 hours of exploration and combat. It is open world. The actual gameplay footage was shown, and it looked decent as well.
It did look barren at points.
It did look bad at points, but then it also looked really good at points. So it's just one of those for now. I guess it is early. You can pre-order now, and if you pre-order, you get a free copy of the first game on PC. I got excited for a second because when she said that, I thought she said the port is also coming for the first game, and I was like, oh, sick! You could play the port
this isn't
now.
even coming to. It's not even coming to PC. The Asgard's Wrath 2 at all.
No, this is Quest only, as far
That
as
was one of my disappointments.
Yeah, I'm sure you would have picked it up from there. You can ride a panther. It's a full RPG. You can ride a panther. It looked good. It reminded
What
me
a
of that
Transition.
Howard and Kumar goes to White Castle when they get really high and then start riding the tiger. So it just reminded me of just like it's full RPG. The one that really excited me was the small axe that you could throw and pull back, just like you could do in God of War, which looked really cool. I hope haptic feedback is in that because on the PlayStation it's super satisfying. And we got a release. No, we didn't get a release date, but we got a release window of winter 2023. So this is probably the December game that they always like to do as well. And I feel like this will sell a lot of Quest headsets if it delivers. And there was a lot. I think it had like a full 5 to 6 minute or so segment. Like there was a lot. They just kept going and going and going. And then after the show finished, they had more of like a developer interview with a few content creators. Shout out to VR with Jasmine, who was on that. And they were just talking even more and more about it. So this is their AAA game. This is the Quest 3 system seller. This is the big one. What do you think about it? Well, what are your thoughts? Because you've obviously played the first one.
Yeah, I never beat it. Not at all.
It feels like a big game, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's huge. Eric for President's beaten it through twice, one of his favorite games. So I know the whole thing's good. I promise you there.
PJ at VR Verdict's also favorite VR game.
It's fun. It's cool. Part of the appeal was its beauty, right? And how cool and how much was going on, what was going on. So those aspects I'm like nervous about.
Yeah.
It looks cool. It's $60 though. And they already gave me the first one for free. They just be giving that one out. You know, they gave it to everybody about Quest 2s.
When the Quest 2 came out.
For the first few months or something.
So wait, say that again. It's confirmed. It's definitely we can pre-order it now, right? It's $60.
Yeah, it's $60. Yeah.
That is the most expensive Quest game. Most expensive Quest game by miles. Like the most expensive Quest game is normally $40.
Yeah, I can't think of any $50 games right now.
No, I'm just thinking 45, but I think that's just in Canadian, to be honest. So it must be 40 is the highest, and now we've got a $60 tier, which now makes me think of Assassin's Creed Nexus also going to be $60. Have we got a new tier of VR title prices now? It could be, but anyway, that's a conversation for another episode. But even though it's $60, is this something that you'd buy? Because obviously it's a single player game, and obviously what you said about single player games.
Don't pre-order this is my suggestion. I'm not pre-ordering it, and I'm going to wait and see what people say about it. It looks cool. It looks like I'll probably want to buy it just to get in there and try it. But I'm not into giving the money up front.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big proponent of not pre-ordering games whatsoever. Like pre-order your hardware, absolutely. You know, when the Quest 3 probably comes out in September 27th, the pre-orders come out in September 27th. Definitely pre-order it. Most likely you'll be able to find it because I don't think it's gonna be like a PS5, but still, just in case, get it pre-ordered. When it comes to games, especially when it's digital, like sure, there's a lot of cool things that you get with Asgard's Wrath, but what if it tanks? What if it bombs?
Exactly.
You know, and I'm always skeptical with games like that. But I'll tell you the truth here, Samson. Like, I think this looks really cool. If I'm being really honest with myself, this isn't a game that excites me in terms of the way I play, what games I like to play.
But you do like Walking Dead, but is that because it's zombies?
I think I like the survival. I like the survival aspect. I'm not a massive RPG guy. I do like some RPGs. You know, I'm playing Zelda, even though I got bored of it the other day. But that's just because I was in the zone. I was traveling. But I'm not a massive RPG fan just because of how long it takes to beat it, and then I never ever get close to beating it. And even this one, like, it's not my type of game, but the reason why it excites me to actually buy it this time is because of all the hype from the first game, because it's people's favorite VR game by miles and such. And this makes me want to buy it and play it myself. I never got to play Asgard's Wrath 1 just because I did have a PC when I had it. Well, I did have a PC when I had it, but I think I just couldn't download it for some reason. I think this is massive, right? It was like 140 gig or something, and I think
it was huge.
I think I took up most hard drive space from Medal of Honor, and had priority.
Yeah.
It's one of those. It's a game that I don't know if I would 100% buy, but if the reviews are as good as the hype for the first one, this is a day one for me. I don't think I'd ever complete it, but I would definitely sink some hours in. This could be a good Christmas game to mess around with the Quest 3 for sure, to really put it in its paces. So it's, yeah. Basically what I'm trying to say is if it was in flat screen, I would not buy this game. Because it reminds me of it reminds me of Assassin's Creed Origins, or the new types of Assassin's Creeds, which are more RPG-esque.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe this is what Nexus is kind of like as well. I don't know if it's going to be that big, but that's not really what I'm into, the full RPGs. But playing this game, and I just want to ride a panther. Sounds like really fun, and you can fish in the game and such. You can do all these things, right? Of course. So this game also looks like, because of how it looks in terms of how big it is in terms of an RPG, it unlocks the creativity and going, okay, now they can do Asgard's Wrath. What's Assassin's Creed going to look like? What Grand Theft Auto now look like?
That's a new bar.
Yeah. That's a new bar of how big and expansive these VR titles. And if it works and if it really cracks the code, we could be looking at big AAA games moving forward for the Quest 3, which we didn't really think was going to happen. Half-Life, is that going to come to the Quest one day? Probably not, but Lone Echo, could Lone Echo 1 and 2 come to the Quest 3 next year? Would that be the next year's big release? Or Lone Echo 3, could they even do that? I don't know, right? If they can put something like this on Asgard's Wrath 2, a spiritual sequel, or it is a sequel, then surely they can also do these other big PC VR titles. Maybe from the ground
honestly,
up.
The Bulletstorm VR is the one that got me most excited. I'm like, they can port games from PS2, PS3 era,
PS3, yeah,
Xbox
360.
The potential is endless. It's like, what?
Honestly, yeah. If these three last games, Bulletstorm VR, Assassin's Creed Nexus, Asgard's Wrath, and maybe even Attack of the Titan, if they can get all three of these or all four of these games working as good as the trailers kind of seem, or in terms of Assassin's Creed of what we think it could be, it sets a whole new bar of VR titles, and it makes me so excited because we are finally then moving away from the VR is only full of like iPhone kind of games or like mobile apps or such. We are moving away, and I know PC VR didn't have too much of that, Vertigo 2, for example, but Quest definitely had that on its back, right? So if it can do stuff like that, then we're looking at a whole new type of generation of games for the Quest 3, and even the Quest 2. So it's very, very exciting.
Dan, as we wrap up here, can we talk about a few disappointments?
Yes, let's finish off the show with disappointments. Let's go for it, right. And then we'll rank out or rate our showcase.
Oh God, I hate numbers. All right, I'll lead off here.
Or just say it's good or bad or I thought it was decent kind of thing. Use words.
I got you. All right, obvious ones. No GTA comment at all. Nothing. That's dead in my opinion. Like that's never coming.
You know what? I maybe agree with you.
Yeah, I'll be wrong when that game comes out, and be right if it never comes out.
Yeah.
No Microsoft thing. You mentioned you might think it comes later. I do think there's potential in that. But I did want something in that regard. The no PC for Asgard's Wrath, a little sad, not a big disappointment there at all. And then nothing about Behemoth.
No, I didn't even think of that. Yes, of course. I was excited for that and nothing. And we didn't even get anything at the PlayStation showcase. We just got a CGI trailer earlier this year from their State of Play. You're right. No, you're right. I actually completely forgot about that until right now. No Behemoth, which disappointed me. I thought that was gonna also be shown. Um, which means like is Behemoth now becoming more of a PlayStation VR 2 title? As in like, sure it was shown at the Connect, but is it becoming more of we realize how big this game is, it's gonna look better on PSVR 2. Let's get in bed with you and have this as the major PSVR 2 title. I still come to Quest, but like, all the marketing pushed with that.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see. I'm sure there'll be another state of play for PSVR 2 later on this year, and hopefully we see Behemoth. But you're right. I was actually disappointed at that too. I actually completely forgot because it's been such a good one. But
yeah,
that's fair. I'm just looking at our predictions, and I can't remember your predictions because I just wrote down the ones that I had because I just have the script from the
well,
old.
there was no Metal Gear, there was no Microsoft or Roblox, there was no Game Pass.
Nope.
There was no Beat Saber thing. They saved that just for they gave that to PlayStation. And I think I had one or two that might have been right on something.
Yeah, mine was I spoke about the pre-show already. There's no What the Bat DLC, but I know they're working on it. Prediction 2 was Quest Pass was officially announced, and that didn't get announced. So maybe they just saved that for the Connect. That might be a Connect thing. I said prediction 3 was Assassin's Creed is not shown nor teased, but Assassin's Creed Nexus is revealed at Ubisoft. So I think that's a really good one that I got. Dave said he would like to see a release date and price for Quest 3, and he pretty much got that. I mean, the release date he didn't get, but we pretty much know when that's going to come out.
Yeah, I wrote Quest 3 pre-orders, so they're not necessarily live, but you can type your email in to get more information.
I guess so. Joshua said he wants to see if there'll be Quest 3 exclusives, and that'll be no. And he said if Meta will get a Nintendo game, that is a no. My prediction was like the cloud Game Pass support and such will be coming, but I think that would be more of Connect now that we've had this. Steve said I don't think we'll learn anything about a Quest 3. They'll tease it, which was wrong. But I mean, I didn't think it was going to come at all. But no, he said it would be closer to the holiday, and he says I bet they keep GTA in their pocket for Quest 3. Which could still be the case. And he said lots of DLC updates and maybe standalone Asgard, which he pretty much was right there. My last prediction was Quest 3 isn't called Quest 3 because I didn't have a fifth prediction. But that's it. But overall, Samson, my concluding thoughts in the showcase was I had a great time. And I don't know if that's emphasized more because we had the live stream and we had such a fun time, and then we had the Meta Quest and we had that quick impromptu live stream on the PlayStation VR, PlayTest VR, channel. I don't know if it was more because of that, but overall, I mean, even going through that list that we just did together, I think that was a really solid showcase. I think the rest of the year looks really fun, and we'll talk about it probably more in the next podcast. But I think the rest of the year looks really fun, and I'm excited, and that's what you want coming from a showcase. You want to be excited rather than a bit down and going, oh, I'm not sure, So that's what I'm thinking. We'll rate it this. I'm gonna give it a big thumbs up. I think it's a great showcase, and I think this now sets the bar for the next showcase as well going forward.
I agree. I'm actually surprised how divisive this thing has been. As somebody who's in VR and loves VR, I think this was great. Do I think I was trying to talk to my PlayStation friends who are flat screen gamers, and a couple of them own Quests, but they just never get in it. And I was trying to get the vibe on whether or not this would draw them in. And I don't think much of this really did that.
No.
Whatever. Screw them. I'm gonna have a blast with these games. So, I did have Aliens VR written down, and so I guess I did expect that. Man, I still want a Time Crisis or a light gun game. I'm not gonna lie. I still want it. I don't think it'll. Wait, didn't Sega make Time Crisis?
No, probably. No, that seems like a Sega game. I mean, it was on PlayStation, but I believe it was. Oh no, Namco. Similar kind of, Namco made it. Bandai Namco now, but maybe one day. I mean, you got okay. You can get Time Crisis, but but you got Quest 3 controllers, which will have haptic support in the triggers, and therefore potentially new games will use it, hopefully, because nothing in Quest Pro uses it really. So you got something. You got something.
I am definitely leaving this happy, and I thought it was good. I give it a thumbs up. I give it between an 8 and a 9 probably, and that's mostly. You gotta really earn that that 9 and above, right? You gotta freaking wow me. But I thought it was better than last year's. Honestly, there was more than I want to play. More than I want to play out after this one than from last year's for sure.
Well, last year they had a disclaimer which started with a disclaimer this year too, but the disclaimer last year was like a lot of titles have been in the issues pushed back kind of thing. Where this one disclaimer was just like everything that you'll see is going to come out in 2023. There could be delays, but they're intended to come out in the next year, meaning now till next June. But most of them are all like at the end of this year, apart from one, to be honest. So yeah, that last one was 20 minutes and that was it, right? This one was, I tell you this, if there was no Quest 3 announcement today and there was no pre-show, this will still be like a solid 7.5 to 8 out of 10 showcase. And they're having that pre-show, which was really nice, and then having the Quest 3 reveal just before tied the whole thing together in a bow. And maybe it's not 10 out of 10, but definitely 9. To me, it's a 9 out of 10. A big thumbs up. I had a great time, and I hope everyone listening and watching did too. I know there was one person in the stream who wasn't a big fan, but you're not going to please everyone. So,
and I do think a lot of PC VR people were put off.
Yeah,
but I am curious how many of these games will be on PC. I am. As Ice Cube said, it was a good day.
It was a good day, folks. And that will wrap it up for our Let's Talk Oculus episode 89. I hope you appreciate it because it is almost 2 a.m. And in the night, and also like almost 11 o'clock for Samson. So it's been a long.
No. You've got your time wrong.
I got my time wrong. It's almost because you're 5 hours. Normally you're 33 hours ahead of me, and
the other
you're
way,
5 hours behind. Okay, got my time wrong. But it's been a long day. I hope you enjoyed both of the live streams. If you haven't watched them, definitely go back because it was just good fun. And we talk about some thoughts that I may have forgotten this time around. And obviously we had Jenna in the Let's Talk Oculus live stream, which was real fun as well. So enjoy the live streams if you're going to watch back. I know Dave is going to watch back on the showcase one. So enjoy that. Enjoy this podcast episode, and we will be there next week for the next one.
See you next time on Let's Talkulus.